If you don't know who Scotty Kilmer is, he's a very successful YouTuber, and he makes a lot of great videos about cars, car repairs, what cars to buy, not buy. They're great videos, very entertaining. Highly recommend him if you haven't checked out his stuff. But he frequently talks about German cars as being money pits that you should not go near. So I've heard him mention specifically Volkswagen, Audi, BMW, and his favorite to pick on, Mercedes Benz, which he usually puts up as one of the worst cars out there in images, or implies it when he's talking about other cars. So is this really true? Should we avoid the German cars? Well, it depends. If you watch his show a lot, you'll start to pick up on the lens that he is viewing the world through for purchasing a car. And so think of it this way. His ideal customer that he is speaking to is someone who wants to go out and get a car as inexpensively as possible that will last them as long as possible. So in other words, get a car that will get them from A to B very effectively with minimal hassle, and that they keep for a very, very long time, 10 plus years. This is what he himself has done. Now, he admits that he doesn't do a lot of driving himself, and that he gets to feel the fun side of performance cars when he works on them. So, if you want a car that indeed you can keep for 10 years with very little hassle and maintenance, then it might not be the best to go with a German brand. If you care, though, about the driving experience, then it's a trade, right? Now, are German cars unreliable? No, not really. They usually stack up to average or above average reliability when you look at the actual charts, and you can go to different mechanic websites. I think the best ones are the ones that compile data on the frequency of car repairs, and you can look and see that German cars aren't terrible. They're usually about in the middle. Some go up higher, some a little bit lower, like you would see in all different industries, but typically they're not too bad. So when they actually need fixing, they do cost a little bit more to repair typically, because they have imported parts, and the labor is often more specialized or dealer specific, but they're not that bad. And especially if you avoid buying an old used luxury brand, like a high-end brand, say an old Mercedes S-Class, for example, then you're not going to have to be replacing the complicated parts all the time. And his point is totally valid, that the more complicated parts you have on a vehicle, the more expensive it's going to be to repair, because you have more failure points. But does that mean avoid German cars in general? Not necessarily. Again, if you care about the driving experience, German cars are great. And I think as far as being really fun cars to drive, and cars that look really good, just cool cars, there's some of the more reliable, cool cars out there. And yeah, you're going to have to pay a little bit more in price for that, as far as having shorter lifespans and a little bit higher repair costs when those things do come around. But if you're smart about it, they're definitely not going to leave you stranded all the time. It's not like they're going to be exploding on you frequently. I've had two experiences. I have purchased two Audi A4s, and one was just a total money pit, but that was on me. I really didn't do my due diligence to make sure it was a good buy, and that thing cost me a lot. But once I got it up to performing again, it probably could have lasted me a while. I did dump it because I was sick of putting money into it. It had a bunch of cosmetic issues too. Anyway, I bought a different one, and that one has been problem-free for over a year, over I think 27,000 miles now, because I drive a fair amount in a year. Totally problem-free. So it just depends on if you do your due diligence, you get the right vehicle, you shouldn't have too many issues. And then weigh it with how long you actually want to keep a car. Personally, I don't want to keep this car as a daily driver anyway for 10 years. I love cars, so I want to be able to try out some other cars, and life is short. So if you can only try out a few cars in your life, maybe switching every 4 years, every 5 years is more your cup of tea. So it just depends, again, on who you are as a person and what you're looking for. If you don't care about your car and you want something to get from A to B really effectively, really reliably, then and you want to keep it for 10 plus years, then it's probably good to go with the brands that he recommends, Toyota, for example. If you want a really fun, engaging drive with a car that looks cool and has a luxurious feel on the inside, and it's not going to leave you stranded but may cost a little more in repairs when they do come up, get a German car. They're going to be fun, and they're not going to kill you if you really do your research and pick the right one for you and your budget.